let's go across to our correspondent, Jody Cohen, who's now joining us from Renana in Israel. Jody, we've seen a certain sway in the election results so far. We more or less know that Trump is inching closer to reaching that magic number of 270. What are the reactions that you're gathering around you in Israel, perhaps West Asia at large, if you've been able to read up on what the media houses there are saying?
Jody, before you answer, we did have a comment from Benjamin Netanyahu. He calls Donald Trump's election victory history's greatest comeback.
Absolutely. So yes, so I was about to say that, not just the fact of what he said, but how quickly he has posted this. Netanyahu took to X and he posted that he congratulated the Trumps on Donald Trump's election victory and called it history's greatest comeback, as you said. And he signed off in true friendship from himself and his wife, Sarah. Now, ministers in the government were actually congratulating Donald Trump on a victory even before that, before the mainstream media started to call a victory for Donald Trump in America. Now, Trump, in his speech, talked about how he's going to turn it around, and he mentioned a few things. And in terms of West Asia, he specifically said that in his first term, there were no wars, and then he clarified that by saying, except that America beat ISIS. And he said that he's been accused of that he's going to start wars, but that it's going to be the opposite, that he's actually going to stop wars. And he also talked about support that he'd received from Arabs and Muslims in America. He talked about making America strong again. So in terms of what's going on in West Asia, the expectation is in terms of Gaza and also in terms of Lebanon. Donald Trump said that only a fool wouldn't respond like Israel did to Hamas's 7th of October attack. He said that he wants to see all American hostages freed and that the captors will pay a big price. And he said to Israel that he wants to see them win fast and get back to peace. And he's reportedly told Prime Minister Netanyahu that he wants to see the war over by inauguration, which we know is in January. But he said that it's important that it's done properly so that the fighting doesn't repeat itself every 5 or 10 years.
Jody, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast. We'll keep coming back to you. For now, let's go across to our correspondent Siddhant Sibal as well, who's been waiting very patiently for us. Siddhant, while we saw which way the results are, there was a lot of anxiety, voter anxiety that Americans spoke of before the polling. When you've been able to speak to voters around you, have you got the other set of reactions as well, or is what you see around you is a mood of jubilation, primarily when you see the red shirts go up?
Well, it is 3:30 a.m. here in Washington. Not many people are outside, and the only rally which everyone was looking forward to was Kamala Harris's rally at the Harvard University. That is not going to happen right now, today, and people have left that place. The focus, of course, was at the Trump headquarters. We saw that victory speech, and essentially world leaders have started to congratulate the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A short while ago, congratulated Donald Trump on social media, on Twitter, and we have seen Israeli Prime Minister, the French President, also congratulating, among the first set of leaders who have congratulated Donald Trump. But of course, Trump victory is something that is closely watched, not just in the region, but also in the Asian region. It is going to have huge repercussions, and everyone knows about Donald Trump's presidency in the first presidency that took place. And largely, if I can give you an assessment about what's going to happen in terms of what's the feeling like, in Beijing, it will be a feeling of worry because he has already said that he's going to impose tariffs on Chinese goods. When it comes to Pakistan, he has made his views clear when it comes to the issue of terrorism. He had made a famous tweet as well in the past, which of course led to a lot of heartburns in Islamabad and Rawalpindi. Bangladesh will be under immense pressure, it looks like, given the fact that and during his campaign trail, he made comments on the situation of Bangladeshi Hindus. He is the only mainstream American politician to do so. But when it comes to India, it can be a mixed bag because during the campaign trail, He talked nice about India and about Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He said that when it comes to India and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he is something he has a positive view about. But he has already made his views clear about India because tariff is called Indian tariff. That is something that can lead to trade tensions if he imposes tariffs on India. He's already given example of Harley Davidson. So this is the geopolitics. But right now here in Washington, in a few hours' time, it will be dawn and first rays of sunlight will be there. So then we will get to know the mood on the ground, the feeling on the ground. What's the feeling? I do see celebration because yesterday night, local time, when I was in front of the White House, I saw a lot of people in front of White House, but those were largely supporters of Kamala Harris. They were pro-Palestine supporters as well. But we'll get to know what's the view on the mood like in front of the White House later today as the day starts here in Washington.
You're right. The day is starting in Washington. It's 3:30 a.m. in Washington, D.C. That is our correspondent, Sidhan Sibol, reporting in Washington, D.C. And America will wake up to a new dawn of Trump coming back to the White House because he's declared victory in these elections. We are yet to call the elections, so we'll see how that plays out or pans out during the next few hours. But right now, as it stands, Trump has declared his victory to the White House, and he says he is going to unite all Americans.
That's going to be a first. Definitely looking forward to a different wave of Republican Party taking the lead in America. Certainly interesting to watch out for. Thanks so much for joining us on the broadcast.